Well, Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina says her campaign has seen a surge in fundraising after her breakout performance in last week's debate, and that her message is starting to catch on.
Honestly, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I think I'm working really hard. Many people tell us we're out working every campaign out there. I'm about to leave for South Carolina. We're going to talk to as many people as we can through every medium there is. I will continue to do what I've done from day one. I will answer any question. I will talk to anyone. I'm not afraid to talk about anything. The more people get to know me, the more people support me.
Well, she's obviously in great spirits there. Katie Pavlich is a news editor for townhall.com and a Fox News contributor, along with Marianne Marsh, a former senior advisor to John Kerry. Ladies, welcome. Great to have you here today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Katie, let me begin with you. Obviously, many people are sending lots of praise to Carly Fiorina for her performance in the debate, and she is keeping a laser-light focus on Hillary Clinton. Is that a wise move for her at this point? Does she need to expand her conversation now to larger issues, focusing on the economy and foreign policy?
I don't necessarily think that those are two different issues. I think, of course, she needs to focus on Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton is a large issue. Look, Carly Fiorina last week not only had a breakout session in the first 5 o'clock debate, but one of her answers on a serious topic of Iran was used during the primetime debate for those primetime candidates to respond to. And she's right when she says the more people she gets in front of, the more people like her and they want to know what her message is. She's not afraid to answer the tough questions. She's not afraid to talk about her record. She's been very transparent. And she has a good message of, look, she thinks that the political class in Washington, D.C. in both parties has failed Americans, and that's resonating with a lot of people across the country.
Marianne, do you feel like this was a turning point in her campaign at this point, and do you expect her to continue to do well in the next few weeks?
Carly Fiorina did everything you would want a candidate to do in that first debate. She outperformed her opponents. She got mentioned in the primetime debate, which is exactly what you want. And then she's used every single moment since that debate in earned media to raise her profile. That's exactly the thing you want to do. That's the good news. The bad news is her opponents weren't that impressive. I'm not sure she would have fared as well in the primetime debate. Two, I'm not sure it's ever a good idea to call any opponent a liar, and certainly not with 15 months to go, because where do you go from there? And last but not least, everything she's talked about in terms of fixing government and creating jobs, her business record undercuts. And that's a challenge a lot of Republican businessmen and women who have run for office and run for president have confronted along the way. So she's going to have the same challenge going forward.
Well, you know, Katie, the fact is she herself says that she's ready to take on anyone who challenges her record in the business world, particularly on the note that she was fired. She raises the point that others have been fired as well, people like Steve Jobs and Michael Bloomberg, and they've gone on to succeed in their chosen fields. Given that, do you think this is going to be a negative going forward, particularly the fact that she had to lay off 30,000 people who eventually were fired when it comes to talking about job creation?
Well, look, I think when she has a chance to explain the decisions that she made during her time at HP, she actually makes a pretty good argument. She talks about making tough decisions, as you just mentioned. She talks about the other CEOs who have also been, quote, fired as a result of making tough decisions. She says that when you're at the top of the pack and you're trying to make a difference and go against the status quo, some people don't like that, and ultimately it might result in you losing your job. I actually sat down with her last week at the Red State Gathering. She thoroughly explained the layoffs at HP, her record there. And I also want to just go back to one thing that Marianne said. You know, Carly Fiorina didn't call Hillary Clinton a liar. She said that Hillary Clinton has lied about specific things, and she's offered evidence on Benghazi and her emails and other things moving forward. And there's plenty of other things that we can talk about in terms of Hillary Clinton lying about them. So Carly Fiorina certainly isn't at the end of the road when it comes to calling out Hillary Clinton and the lies that she's told on a variety of issues.
So, Marianne, what's wrong with her pointing out those differences and saying that what she says doesn't add up with the record?
Well, you can point those things out all day long. Feel free. Everybody does. But to use the word liar with 15 months left to go in an election, where do you go from there? I mean, she appeals to a very small part of the Republican Party right now. It may help her in a very small Republican primary, but it's not going to help her with other voters. When you have 15 months to go to the election and you need to work up towards and generate enthusiasm and make your case, she, one, doesn't have the standing to credibly make those claims with voters yet, and two, she has to go up from there. Now, I think what's left to say probably can't be said on TV without a 7-second delay. So that's something she's going to have to wrestle with. And to go back to her business record, I mean, neither Steve Jobs nor Michael Bloomberg have run for president. Mitt Romney did. His business record dogged him, and that's much more like Carly Fiorina. She not only had to fire 30,000 people and drove HP, one of the great companies, into the ground, she got a $40 million severance pay package that I think most Americans are going to have a hard time understanding as well. She got rewarded $40 million for her failure. And I don't think that's what a lot of people see these days. And when you look at the anger that exists both on the right and the left about fairness in the economy, job performance, getting ahead, getting a pay raise, having equal pay, I think Carly Fiorina is going to have a tough time talking about that.
Okay.
She's already talked about it. I mean, she's laid out this issue of you want women to have equal pay in the workforce, get rid of the unions, which is something that Hillary Clinton supports. Look, Carly Fiorina is tapping into Hillary Clinton's lies, which is becoming a problem for Hillary Clinton in swing states across the country where voters, and not primary voters, general election voters are saying they do not trust Hillary Clinton. So she hasn't called Hillary a liar. She has said she has lied on a variety of different issues, which is resonating with voters on their own when they see the non-transparent attitude of Hillary Clinton.
Ladies, we'll have to leave it there. Obviously, this is a story that's going to continue to generate some heat over the next several weeks, and we're obviously going to be watching it very closely, as are you both. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.